common issue in software development is the assumption that abstraction means complexity, when in fact it's exactly the opposite. If there were two people walking in the forest, you wanted to communicate with them, how could you do that? Imagine a world where one of them looks up and says, "That's a message. What are you looking at? I'm only seeing smoke." One of them has seen something, the other one has not. What is the difference? Is a light a message? Is a light switch turning on and off a message? My point here is there is some underlying concept that represents a message that has nothing to do with letters or pens or writing. And what a lot of people do is they will take the concepts that they are familiar with from a specific implementation and tie those intrinsic ideas to the actual concept and miss the forest for the trees, or in this case, the smoke signal for the smoke. What exactly is a message to start with? For me, a message is simply anything which transmits information. A light switch on and off is not particularly transmitting anything useful. A light switch on and off in Morse code is transmitting a message of some kind. A smoke signal is also a message. Some people might not like how abstract that is, but you can now communicate much simpler. You can now say, "Oh, it's a message. What does the message say?" Without having to explain, "This piece of paper is a message, but that's smoke." Now you have to have a long conversation to explain the difference between smoke and paper. The simplicity comes from the fact that you're willing to accept that abstraction is allowed to be part of the process. With that abstraction, we can now build up layers. What is a bus? Well, in audio, we talk about audio buses. Well, a bus is considered a channel of information, or something which transmits information. So if a message is a single piece of information that is transmitted, then you could say a bus is messages over time. Morse code, writing out a single message, is a message, but if you are listening to the taps coming from something, that is a message bus with which you are listening to for multiple messages. When would you use messages in games? When would you use a message bus in games? Well, where else would you find yourself sending messages over time? In my opinion, message buses are quite useful in video games.